Hey everyone, I'm your alibi, and these are my thoughts on The Turning. So we're introduced to our main character, Kate Mandel, a teacher leaving her job in favor of being a governess. But before she leaves, she pays a visit to her mother, who is in a mental institution. Weirdly enough, her mother always sits in the same dark, creepy room, which happens to have an empty pool which looks like it hasn't been cleaned in ages. Do mental institutions typically have a room like this? Anyway, so Kate heads off to the Fairchild estate and is introduced to its 3 remaining residents. The caretaker, Mrs. Gross, and the Fairchild children, Miles and Flora. Kate hits it off with Flora, but Miles appears to be a tougher case. Kate learns that he got in trouble at his school for reacting violently to one of his classmates, and every now and then Miles just seems a little off. Kate starts settling in while also picking up on strange occurrences going on around the house, especially at night. Furthermore, she learns about Quint, the Fairchild's sinister riding instructor, who only recently died. Now, getting on to the scene that I found by far to be the most frustrating to watch, Kate decides to take the kids with her on an outing. The only snag is that, as she was told earlier on in the movie by Mrs. Gross, Flora doesn't leave the house because she unfortunately witnessed the death of her parents in a car crash by the front gate. And now she's terrified that she might suffer the same fate. And this is the scene that calls into question Kate's entire career history. When she pulls up to the gate, Flora starts freaking out, understandably. And instead of stopping the car and taking the time to actually assure Flora that everything will be alright and she has nothing to be afraid of, Kate just brushes it off and keeps going. This is a horrible way of handling a child you know has been traumatized. It literally takes Miles screaming in her face for this governess to grow a brain. In my opinion, the best thing that Kate could have done in that situation is to let Flora out of the car, walk her to the other side of the gate, and then drive the car in after her. But seriously, like, who on earth qualified this chick to be a teacher or a nanny? Anyway, after that whole fiasco, the children are understandably upset, but Kate nevertheless manages to get back into their good graces, despite the fact that she probably should have been kicked off of the estate the minute that disastrous car ride was over. During a later game of tag with the children, Kate is attacked by the ghost of the previous nanny called Jessel. Kate finds Jessel's journal and discovers that Quint was dangerously obsessed with the previous nanny. After this, her ghost sightings grow increasingly frequent. Shortly after these events, Kate receives some mail from her institutionalized mother. And this is where things really get confusing. Kate goes through this whole process of finding Jessel's dead body on the grounds, coming back to the house, watching Quint's ghost murder Mrs. Gross, and then fleeing with the children. Then in the next scene, we're back to the point where she received her mother's letter, and it turns out the whole prior sequence was not real. I hate movies like this. So Kate goes to the children and tries to convince them that the ghosts are real, and Miles calls her delusional. Then out of nowhere, Kate is suddenly transported to the creepy room in her mother's mental institution. She's shown looking at something off camera with this expression of horror on her face, and of course, we are never shown what it is. Is this supposed to be scary? Because I'm really just annoyed. Anyway, those were my thoughts on The Turning. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, be sure to hit the like button and check out some more of my content, and I will see you next time.